Hello. Yeah. Is it audible? Visible? Everything fine? Yeah, Shweta. Good afternoon. Okay. So let's get started. This is percentage. This is where we start with our mathematics part. Okay. Now, reasoning part is done. In mathematics part, we'll focus on the most important concepts. Okay. And we'll do questions related to it. Now, first chapter is percentage. First thing, what do you know about percentage? So percentage, if you break this down, this is per cent. What does cent mean? Per cent means what is the value of anything per 100. Okay, so if you have, let's say, any quantity, let's say somebody got 760 marks out of 1000. Now this does not tell you anything very easily. What percentages does is it gets to you a single number through which you can get that what is the performance, is it good, is it bad, correct? For example, if I tell you that during COVID-19, Delhi government distributed food to 10 lakh people. Okay, 10 lakh migrants were given food daily. Now is this number good or bad? Huh? This you cannot tell until you don't know the whole thing, that is how many people were there in total. Now if I tell you that Delhi government was able to give migrants food during COVID-19 only to 10% of the migrants, now you immediately know that this is bad, correct? So this is what percentage does, it gets you a single figure for anything, and based on this you can immediately judge. That's why we try to reduce everything to percent or percentage. Now first thing, changing from fraction to percentage. How do you change from fraction to percentage? For example, if fraction is 1 by 2, this you know, half is what percent? 50%. How you get to 50%? Basically you multiply this, by 100. It goes one time, 50 time, what you get is 50%. This is what is done, correct? So basically if I have to go from fraction to percentage, I multiply it by 100. Now if I have to go from percentage to fraction, what do I do? For example, if I give you 75%, in terms of fraction you have to calculate. So what you will do, 75%, so 75, you remove percentage, you divide it by 100, correct? This goes how many times? By 25, you can cancel it, 3 by 4, correct? So basically when I give you a percentage, how do you get to a fraction? You remove percentage and divide it by 100, and that gives you the fraction, correct? Simple. Yes, Anurag, good afternoon. Then these are some common percentages that you may remember. Now see, for example, 1 by 1 is 100%. So if I say something is completely done, that is 1, that is equivalent to 100%. Similarly, now you have 1 by 2, how you are getting to 50%? Multiplying it by 100, you get to 50%. Then 1 by 3, this is 33.33%. Again, you're just multiplying by 100 and writing it. Then 1 by 4 is 25%, and 1 by 5 is 20%. 1 by 6 is 16.66. 1 by 7 is this. 1 by 8 is 12.5. 1 by 9 is 11.11. And 1 by 10 is 10%. Okay. Now, I have written very few percentages. At least these you try to remember. Okay. I'm not telling you to remember like 1 by 14, 1 by 13, anything like this. But this is the very basic one. Now, apart from this, there are some that I have written in yellow. These are very useful and they are derived from the upper one. For example, 1 by 3 is 33%, correct? 33.33. Then 2 by 3 will be double of this, so 66.66%. 1 by 4 you do know is 25%. Then 2 by 4 is what? 2 by 4 is again 1 by 2. So that I already know. So only thing that I need to think of is 3 by 4. How do you get to 3 by 4? See, 1 by 4 is equals to 25%. Now I multiply both sides, let's say by 3. So what I'll get? I will get 3 by 4 is equal to 3 into 25, that is 75%. Correct? So that is 3 by 4 is equals to 75%. Similarly, now 1 by 5 is 20. Then 2 by 5 will be what? Double of this, 40%. 3 by 5 will be what? Triple of this, 60%. 4 by 5 will be what? 4 times of this, that is 80%. Correct? These many you try to remember. Okay, now we come to very important formula. Very, this is the most important thing in this chapter of percentage. This is percentage change. Now the original formula that you might see in books looks something like this. So percentage change is equals to final value minus initial value upon initial value into 100. But this is not a very good way to use this formula. It's not very fast. So what we should rather learn is percentage change is equals to just rearrangement of this, and we get to this, which is final value is equals to initial value into 100 plus minus percentage change by 100. Understood? Now this that you see here, 100 plus minus percentage change, now this can be repeated several times. Okay, so if there is percentage change of 10%, so you write 100 plus 10 by 100. You understand this? Let's do this question. So price of Maggi is 10 rupees. Find new price when price is increased by 10%. So what you will have to do? Final value is equals to initial value into 100 plus percentage change by 100. Why I have written plus minus? Because if it is a decrease, I will consider minus. If it is increase, I will consider plus. Now this becomes what? So final value I don't know. Initial value do I know? Yes, initial value is 10 rupees. Correct? Into percentage increase is 10%. Increase means what? This is percentage change of plus 10%. So it will become 100 plus 10 by 100. Correct? Or in other words, this directly becomes final value is equals to 10 into 100 plus 10, that is 110 by 100. That's it. Now you can just cancel out zeros, 0, 0, 0. Final value becomes equals to 11 rupees. That's it. Simple. So what you have to do? You have to write 100 plus minus whatever percentage changes there. Now here it says decreased by 20%. Okay, we are not calculating value, just writing the equation. So final value will be equal to what? Initial value, whatever initial value is this, into 100 minus percentage change. So 100 minus 20, correct? Because this is decrease. So 100 minus 20 by 100. What is 100 minus 20? It's 80, correct? So this becomes 80 by 100. That's it. Understood how you write plus or percentage increase, how you write percentage decrease. Now let's take another longer example. Now it says price of a shirt is 100 rupees. Then you need to find the final price when it is first increased by 10%, then decreased by 25%, then increased by 30%, then decreased by 40%. Okay, if you can do this, then of course you have understood how you write percentage change. Okay, now let's see. So final value is equals to initial value into 100 plus minus percentage change by 100. Now if there are multiple percentage change, what you have to do? You have to keep writing different percentage changes again and again. So this is percentage change 1, then it may be 100 plus minus percentage change 2 by 100, and then it goes on like this. This is the way. Now let's get started. So first final value I don't know. Initial value is what? Initial value is 100 rupees. So this is 100 into. Now see how I keep writing. Increase by 10%. This is increase by 10%. So this becomes what? 100 plus 10, 100 plus 10, correct? This is increase in price, correct? So percentage plus, so 100 plus 10, so this becomes 110 by 100, then multiplied by 25% decrease. This will look like what? 100 minus 25, correct? 100 minus 25 is what? 100 minus 25 is 75 by 100. Then next 30% increase, so this becomes what? 100 plus 30, that is 130 by 100. Then 40% decrease will look like what? 100 minus 40, that is 60. This becomes 60 by 100. So final value will be equal to this. We are not going to calculate the value. This is what you learn from this, that how you write these percentage changes. Understood? Okay. Then if you really have understood, then try to do this. Then tell me, first tell me this. So you must have ordered from Zomato. Okay. So now on Zomato, what they do, if there is, let's say, a 200 rupees product, okay, you're buying something. Now, instead of offering you 20% off directly, they offer you 10% plus 10% off. Correct? This you might have seen, 10% because of payday and then 10% because of IPL. Like this they give off. Now, it is very weird. They could have given 20% off directly. Correct? But why do they do so? So understand this. It's 200 rupees. Now 10% off plus 10% off means what? So first they give 10% off. So here final value is equals to initial value into 100 plus minus percentage change by 100. This remains same. Now let's get started. So final value I don't know. Initial value is what? 200 into. Now 10% off means 10% decrease in price, correct? So this becomes into 90 by 100. Then after this 10% more off, correct? So what we were doing, like here there was 10% increase, then 25% decrease. Here you had 10% off, then 10% more off. So this becomes again into 90 by 100. Now you solve this. So you solve this, you can cancel two zeros and two zeros, then 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 0. All zeros are gone. What remains? What remains? In the denominator you have nothing. Here what you have? 9 into 9 into 2. This becomes 2 into 9 nines are 81. 81 into 2 is 162 rupees. This is what you will have to pay. Correct? Now let's do this. So here also formula is of course the same. So final value will be equal to what? Whatever is the initial value, that is 200 into. Now the percentage changes, 20% off. So I can directly remove this 20. So it becomes 100 minus 20, that is 80 by 100. Correct? Correct. Now I just cancel it out. So double zeros, two zeros cancel out. What remains? 80 into 2, that is 160 rupees. And in this case, you will pay 160 rupees only. So by doing this, how much Zomato gains? Zomato actually gains 2 more rupees from you. And you feel like that you are essentially getting 20% off. Of course, if the order is not of 200 rupees, of 2000 rupees, then it keeps on increasing. Correct? So this is why they usually do so. Many companies, every company give you offs like this: 10% off, then 10% more, 20% off, then 25% more, like that. So this is the reason. Understood? Yes, Shweta. Yes, Dheeraj. Correct. Correct. Now try to do this question from 2025. Let's see. This is the same expression. Okay. Only thing that you needed was this. Okay. Try it. Okay. Now, see what it says. The price P of a commodity is first increased by K percent. Okay. Okay. Then decreased by K percent, then increased by K percent, then decreased by K percent again. If the new price is Q, what is the relation between P and Q? So now you remember the formula, which is final value is equals to initial value into 100 plus minus percentage change by 100. I have written this 10 times now. Now, now, if you want to get to the final price, okay, so let's get started. So it says, what is the relation between P and Q? Now the new price is Q. That means Q is what? Q is the final price, and the price P of the commodity is first increase. So basically, this is the initial value. This you are able to decipher. Okay, then final value is Q, initial value was P. Now I only have to write percentage changes. Now let's write it. First increased by K percent. So it will look like what? 100 plus K by 100. Then next is decreased by K percent. So 100 minus K by 100. Decreased by 10 K percent. So 100 minus K by 100. Now just read the next two lines carefully. Now it says again increased by K percent. Yeah. So 100 plus K by 100 and 100 plus K by 100 is repeated twice. So just observe carefully what I'm doing. I'm rubbing this, and I'm making a square here. And I make a square here. Is this correct? Correct. Ultimately, this is 100 plus K by 100 two times multiplied. So I make it square. Similarly, again decreased by K percent. So again I make square of this also. Because again I will multiply it by 100 minus K by 100. Correct. Now you got this. Now let's solve it further. So P into, now this is what? 100 is what? 100 is 10 square. Correct. So let me write the 10 square. So this is 10 square. This is also 10 square. Why I am doing so? Because I see that the options are in form of 10. Then this becomes what? 10 square square is 10 power 4. 10 square square is 10 power 4. Now 10 power 4 into 10 power 4, what do you get? 10 power 8. So here you will get 10 power 8. This you understand? 2 2s are 4. 2 2s are 4. 4 plus 4, 8. Then here you have 100 plus k whole square and 100 minus k whole square. Now, what does this mean? Can I write it like this? 100 plus k into 100 minus k whole square. Is this possible? Yes, because ultimately this will be square of this and square of this multiply. Correct? Now, 100 plus k and 100 minus k multiply. What you get? If you remember, this is a plus b, a minus b, which gives you a square minus b square. So this becomes 100 square minus k square whole square by 10 power 8, or p into, now 100 square can again be written as 100 is 10 square. So this can be written as 10 square square, that is 10 power 4 minus k square whole square by 10 power. This becomes your final answer. Now, which one of these options says so? First of all, you see 10 power 4 here, cancel. You want 10 power 8. Correct. Now, in this, what you want? 10 power 4 minus k square whole square you want. Whole square I have here. Correct. Whole square. So, I want whole square. Answer becomes A, not D. Why not D? Because it does not have any square. So, answer is A. Yes, Shweta. Yes, Dheeraj. Okay, now let me tell you a much faster way to do this, like I would have done in the exam. Now, see what you see. If you see powers like this, always try to match what is the power that you will get. Okay, now if you see, it is not differed by if there is 10 or 11. Correct. It is not differed by anything else, but 10 power 4s are there, or 10 power 8 is there. K square is there, or k power 4 is there. So only thing that you need to check is the power for k and the power for 10. Correct, correct. Now just think in your head, ultimately if the price is increased by k, so then it will have been 100 plus k, then after that 100 minus k, then 100 plus k, then 100 minus k. How many k can you see here? The highest power of k, what you can see, k power 4, so it must have a k power 4. Now which of these options have k power 4? This has, this has, these two have k square, so these two are gone right away. Then next thing that you see here that at the bottom I have 100 100 100 100, so ultimately 100 power 4 I will have. 100 power 4 is equivalent to what? 100 power 4 is equivalent to 10 power 8. So my option should also have 10 power 8. Now, which has 10 power 8 between these two? Only this. So answer becomes A. This is the way that you should be doing it in exam, just by seeing the power of K and 10. It will be much faster rather than solving it like this. Understood? Okay, then now we come to resultant percentage change. This is a very important concept. Many questions are asked from this. In many other questions also it is used all the time, even in ratio and proportion, even in linear equation, all the time. Now this is the simplified way of how I teach this, that how you calculate resultant percentage change. Now you don't have to follow any other method. Basically whatever we learned here, how we are writing this, correct, same process we will follow initially, and then we will calculate resultant percentages using it. Now see what you have to do. Okay, you tell me first, you tell me, if I write final value is equals to initial value into 110 by 100, can you tell me what has happened here just by looking at this equation? Can you tell me, can you feel that what has happened here? Initial value into 110 by 100. Huh? Okay, so most of you will be able to feel that if I am writing 110 by 100 like this, actually the price has increased by 10%. Yes, Dheeraj. Correct. This you can feel. That is why, because here what you write, if you remember, here you write initial value into 100 plus percentage change by 100. Correct. This is what you write. So here whatever is getting added is because of this percentage change. So what must be added to get to 110? Of course 10. Correct. So this you can feel that if I give you like this 110 by 100, you can immediately tell, sir, there is a 10% increase. Now if I give you, can you tell me what is this? This is very clearly what? Now you can feel it. This is actually price has decreased by 20%. You can feel this now. So basically, if there is just one figure, you can feel it very clearly, correct? But if I give you like this, final value is equals to initial value into 110 by 100 into 110 by 100. Now I ask you, what is the resultant percentage change? You tell me one figure by which this final value has changed. You can see 2 times it is being changed, but can you tell me the final figure? Now, this is very typical to see what is the percentage change. Now, see this. If I just cancel out 100, so I am cancelling out 0, 0, 0, 0. Now what it becomes? It becomes initial value into 11 into 11 is 121 by 100, and final value is equals to this. Now can you tell me? Yes, you can very easily tell me that, sir, this is just like this, and this is price increased by 21%. And this is what our method is also. Understood? So basically, we will try to reduce whatever the equation, how many ever changes are there in this form. That is, you have only 100 in the denominator. Now, whatever comes in the numerator, from this we subtract 100. It gives you the percentage change. The resultant percentage change is calculated like this. This is what is written in the flow chart also. So, first thing, you simplify to get the equation in this form. Initial value into 100 plus minus c by 100, only one. Okay, that is, you should have only 100 in denominator. Now once this is done, only 100 in denominator is done, what you have to do, from the numerator just straight away subtract 100. You don't have to think anything. Once you get 100 in the denominator, just subtract 100 from the numerator. If you get a positive value, you will get the percentage change with the sign. If you get a positive value, you say this percent increase. For example, in that question you got 21% increase. Now if you get a negative number, let's say negative 18, then that means what? 18% decrease. Our method does not change. Understood? What we'll do, simplify, get 100 in the denominator, then from the numerator we just subtract 100, get the answer. Okay, now this is the question that was asked in 2022. Okay, so the increase in price of a certain item was 25%. So now I write final value is equals to initial value into 100 plus minus percentage change by 100. Now this is the formula. Now let's get started. So the increase in the price of certain item was 25%. So final value is equals to initial value into 25% increase is 25%. So that means what? Into 125 by 100. Then next, then the price is decreased by 20%. 20% decrease means what? 100 minus 20, that is 80 by 100. Then again increase by 10%. So that means into 110 by 100. Correct? Now our method is what? We get to only 100. So just start cancelling on 0, 0 cancel, 0, 0 cancel. Correct? 100 is gone. One more 100 I have to eliminate. Let's try to eliminate this. This looks easier to eliminate. So now you see here how many times you can cancel this out. I'm writing again to do the cancellation clearly. So now it becomes 125 by 100 into, now 8 and 11 is left, but all this is gone. So this is 8 by 100 into 11 by 1. Correct? This is only remaining. Now let's cancel out 125 and 100. How many times this will go? By 25 you can cancel it out. This goes 4 times, this goes 5 times. Correct? So 5 by 4 is what you get. Now again 8 and 4 you can cancel out. Correct? You can see this. So 4 ones are 4 and this goes 2 times. Correct? Now what you have? Now you have the beautiful equation, which is initial value into 5 twos are 10, 10 into 11 is 110 by. Now what you have? You have only 100 at the denominator. This is the format that we wanted. Now we do what? We just subtract 100 from the numerator. What you got? 110 minus 100, that is plus 10%. Plus 10% means what? 10% of increase, that is B. Yes, Dheeraj, correct. Okay, simple. What you have to do, final value, initial value, whatever is written, eventually get to this form, just subtract 100, get to the answer. Then you don't have to follow that resultant percentage increase A plus B plus AB by 100. Then if there are 3 4, then you apply it again and nothing you have to do. Follow the same process, get to this format. Okay, now you do this. Yes, Dheeraj. Yes, Shweta. Yes, Satish. Good, good. Okay, so price of an article is decreased by 20%. So now I'm writing, see, all this was fine. Now, how you write it in exam? Decreased by 20%. So what you write? Ultimately, you know, decreased by 20% means what? 80 by 100. Then into increased by 25%. So into 125 by 100. Correct. Now whatever I get here, I know that I want 100 here, and I will just subtract 100 from the numerator. Now let's start cancelling them out. So now let's try to cancel this. So this goes how many times? Again, this goes 5 times and 4 times by what? By 20, 25. Correct. Then 4 and 80, so one time this goes 20 times. Then 20 into 5 is what? 100. 100 by 100 will be what? You have to subtract 100 or whatever. 100 by 100 is actually equal to, if you subtract 100 from it, this, if you are just very very stuck on the process, then also you get to the 0% increase. Or when you see that 100 and 100 both here, that means 100 plus percentage c, of course that percentage c is 0. Anyway, if you just want to follow the process, 100 minus 100 gives you 0%. This becomes the answer. Then let's get to the next concept. Now this is very important. Many students get confused in this. Now first thing, when you read a question, okay, and there are two or more quantities, for example there is x also, y also, z also, then p, q, r are there, three people are there, then or two people are there, then always remember they will talk about the difference of one from the other in terms of something. Now how do you understand that? What is the reference? What should be the denominator? That is important. So understand, whenever you see than or that of, whatever is written, whatever is written after this becomes the reference, and that is used in the denominator. For example, Ram has 20% more money than Raj. Ram has 20% more money than Raj. Then how you will see this? So basically comparison is with respect to Raj. Okay, so that means whatever is the difference between Ram and Raj. So Ram minus Raj, this is the difference between them. Upon what? This becomes the major hurdle. So upon will always be whatever is after than or after that of. Just think in what reference we are, the question is saying to us. Then than Raj. So it becomes Ram minus Raj upon Raj into 100. This is the percentage difference. Or in other words, this is given in the question, which is, this is given as 20% more. Understood? So Raj will be the denominator. Of course, everybody understands that if it is more than or less than, then the difference has to be taken in the numerator. That is not a problem. Then again, very important, in any question, again, if there are 2 3 people, variables, whatever, you first identify which is an independent variable that is not dependent on any other. Once you identify that this is independent and the other are dependent variable, then the independent one you have to assign any very nice value. For example, in most cases we assign it 100. Now if some question is given that ram shyam and Sita goes to a jungle, and then Ram has 20% more money than Sita. Sita has 20% less money than, let's say, Shyam. Then what you have to do? So basically you need to identify which is independent of everybody. So Ram is independent, then you take Ram as the reference or assign value 100 to Ram. If you do it otherwise, the calculation becomes difficult. Okay, now let's take a question. I'll do this, you just understand. Okay, P is P's salary is 20% lower than Q's salary. Correct? Read the next line. Which is. That means it is talking about Q's salary. Correct? Q's salary, which is 20% lower than R salary. 20% lower than R's salary. Now, just see. So basically, P's salary, if I ask you what is the salary of P, what you will say? It is 20% lower than Q, this, that, lower than Q, this, that. Basically, P is dependent on Q. This you can feel, correct? Now I ask you, what is the salary of Q? So now you will say Q salary is 20% lower than R salary. So again, Q is dependent on R, which is independent, which is not depending on anybody, Mr. R. So this is the independent variable, and for this only we will assign the value. For easy calculation, let's assign, let's say 100 rupees. Does not matter because the entire question is in percentage. When the entire question and the options, when the options are in percentage, then it does not matter the exact values are what. Eventually you will get to the same. That's why you can assign it any value. Okay. Now, so P, Q and R is the independent variable. I say, now I'm writing here P, Q, R. I say R salary is 100 rupees. R salary is 100 rupees. Now, you tell me what is Q salary? It says Q salary, which is 20% lower than R salary. That means what? Q earns 20% less than R. 20% less than R. I'm doing the calculation here. Okay. So that will be what? 100 into 20% less. That means 100 minus 20. That is 80 by 100. 100 you can cancel out. That means what? How much Q makes? Q makes 80 rupees. This you can directly also feel because you know that this is 20% decrease. Now this is of course 100. So in 100, percentage and value is the same. So 100 and then minus 20, you get to 80. Now next, P's salary is 20% lower than Q's salary. 20% lower than Q's salary. So what you will have to do? 20% less than this. So again, I now decrease Q by 20%. So this becomes what? 80 into. I have to decrease this by 20%. So that means 100 minus 20. That is again 80 by 100. You can cancel this out. 0, 0, 0, 0. 8 is a 64. This 64 is what? Is what P has. So P has 64 rupees. Now you have got all the three values, and now whatever is the question you can calculate. The question is, by how much percentage is R salary more than P's salary? Which will be the denominator? More than P's salary. This is the denominator. This is the reference that we have to take. So ultimately this becomes whatever is the salary of R minus that of P, because it is asking how much is R salary more than P. So this becomes R minus P upon salary of P is P into 100. Now R salary is what? 100. 100 minus 64. 100 minus 64 is 36. 36. P salary is 64. 36 by 64 into 100. Now you can cancel out little if you want. So basically this goes 9 times 36, correct? By 4 this goes 9 times. 64 goes 16 times. So this becomes 9 by 16 into 100, correct? Now this also you can cancel out if you want, or you can just simply calculate. So this becomes 900 by 16. How many times this will go? 16 5s are 16 5s are how many times this will go? So 16 5s are 80, correct? It goes 5 times. Then 10 remains with 100. With 100 it goes 6 times because 16 6 are 96. So 56 point something something. Is there any option? Yes, option B. That is 56.25%. Understood? I've done it very slowly for you to understand the process. First you identify which is the independent variable, assign value 100 to it, then write others in terms of it, and then the question you have to be careful that it is asking you about what. So by what percentage R salary is more than P salary. So you have to write R minus P by P into 100. Okay, Shweta. Yes. Dheeraj. Yes, Satish. Dheeraj. No. 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 Everybody gave answer A. Okay. Answer is B. Okay. So 56.25% is what you will get. Then next. This was again from 2024. Now try to do this. This I expect from you. Two numbers x and y are 20% and 28% less than z. By what percent is y less than x? Do it, do it. Find the independent variable and then solve. Okay, percentage is a little bigger chapter. So tomorrow also half class will be of percentage only. Okay. C, Satish and Dheeraj. Okay. Okay. First thing, which is independent? Two numbers x and y are 20% and 28% less than z. Correct. Which is independent? Z is independent. Then x, y, z. What should be the value of z? I assign 100 value to z. Then x is 20% less. Now you understand 20% less in 100. That means you just have to subtract 20. So x is 20% less. So this becomes 100 minus 20. That is 80. Then y is 28% less. So 100 minus 28. This is 72. Fine. Fine, clear both. Then by what percentage is y less than x? By what percentage is y less than x? First thing, what will you have in the numerator? The difference between them. By what percent y is less than x? Correct. So in the numerator you have x minus y upon than x. The reference is x. Denominator will be x. So x minus y by x into 100. X is what? X is 80. 80 minus y is 72. 80 minus 72 is 8 by x is what? X is 80. So 8 by 80 into 100. Correct. How many times? Of course, this will go one time. This goes 10 times. 10 and 10 and 1 0 cancel. Answer becomes 10%. So answer is C. Most of you got this correct. Yes. Yes, Dheeraj. Yes, Satish. Yes, Shweta. Understood? Simple. Then let's learn the new concept, that is price and quantity. Now see, if price of anything is given to you, you understand at least this, that price is inversely proportional to quantity. Okay, this you understand. Price is inversely proportional to quantity. That is if something, let's say, if something was of 10 rupees, suddenly I increase the price of it to 50 rupees. Now you will not buy it. Correct. So basically, if you have the same sum of money, let's say whatever is your salary, let's say your salary is 1000 rupees. Okay, now if prices of things increase, then if your salary does not increase, then what you will have to do? You will have to decrease the quantity. Then only you can survive in this cruel world. So basically, price is inversely proportional to quantity. This you understand. Now, so what we do here, one more thing that you may understand is expenditure. The total expenditure or expenditure when you go out for shopping or anything, expenditure is always equal to whatever are the prices into quantity. Summation of this, as in, you, when let's say you go to buy vegetables, then you buy bhindi 1 kg, then you buy potato 2 kgs, then tomato 3 kgs. So what you will have? Price of bhindi into 1 kg, then potato into 2 kg, tomato into 3 kg. Correct. Basically different prices into quantity. Sum total of this becomes the expenditure. Now in most questions what you will find, that it will tell you that the expenditure remains same. Now, if expenditure remains same, then it becomes a direct relation between price and quantity, direct inverse relation. That is, price becomes inversely proportional to quantity. And that is what most questions tries to test. They don't change the expenditure or income in most questions, and then price and quantity are inversely proportional. Okay. Now do this. Basically, if price of a commodity is increased by 10%, by what percent should the consumption or quantity be decreased? Okay. Of course, if the expenditure remains same. This is the question. Price of a commodity is increased by 10%, then by what percent the consumption should be decreased so that the expenditure is same? This is the question. Now, what you can do? Now, you understand that expenditure remains same. That means whatever is the price old into quantity old, this is expenditure, correct? Multiplication of these two is equal to whatever is the new price into new quantity. This you understand? This you can always equate. Now here very clearly let's call old price and old quantity as P and Q only. So then I am trying to find price new into quantity new. Okay, now price old was P, quantity old was Q. Now new price is what? Price has been increased by 10%. 10% increase in by this P, correct? This was the initial price. Price new is 10% more than this initial price. So this is actually P into 110 by 100 into, now this I don't know. What will be Q new? This I don't know. Then what I can do? I can simply see that what is the percentage change here, what I should multiply here so that everything here cancels, correct? And from this you can get to the quantity. Understood how the process is working? Of course, we'll do many questions related to it. Okay, so the thing is that you equate it like this, and using this you can get that whatever was the price old by price new, this is equal to quantity new upon quantity old, just the opposite, and then you can solve for it. Now yeah, let's see this question. Okay, a person can buy 6 kg less rice for 1200 due to a 25% price increase. What was the original price per kg? Okay, this is the question. Now, wait, let's take a simpler one. Let's take this. Now, it says the petrol price shot up by 10%. Okay, as it is going to increase. Okay, government has been avoiding for a long time. So the petrol price shot up by 10% as a result of hike in crude oil prices. The price of petrol before the hike was 90 per liter. Before the hike it was 90. Then a person travels 2200 kilometer every month and his car gives a mileage of 10 kilometer per liter. By how much should he reduce his travel to maintain his expenditure at the previous level? This is the question. Now, first thing, I write here price. Okay, I write price. This is old, this is new. I write price here. Now, what was the old price? The petrol of price before the hike was 90 rupees per liter. So old this was 90. Then it shot up by 10%. It shot up by 10%. That means the new price became what? The new price became 99. This you understand? Now, what was the consumption quantity? That is not given directly here. So it says he travels 2200 kilometer every month and his car gives a mileage of 10 kilometer per liter. So now if distance that this car is traveling is 2200 kilometer and his car gives a mileage of 10 kilometer per liter. I divide this both. I will get the the quantity of petrol that he consumes. This you can feel. 2200 kilometer by 10 kilometer per liter. So this gives me what? I can cancel out 0 and 0. This becomes kilometer and kilometer also. This becomes 220 liters. Correct? So that means the quantity of petrol that he used earlier was 220 liters. Now you need to find this. Correct? Now it is very easy. What I told you, that whatever was in the old, same will be in the new. Let's call it X. Correct? Because the expenditure remains same. If his expenditure is the same as the previous level. So this becomes what? This becomes P into Q. I'm writing. So basically here expenditure is equals to P into Q and P into Q. So this becomes 90 into 220 is equals to 99 into X. Correct? Now let's solve it. So how many times this will go? 99 goes 9 times by 11. This goes 2 times and 20. Correct? Then 9 and 90 goes 1 time, goes 10 times. Correct? Got it? So this becomes X came out to be 10 liters. Sorry, X came out to be 200 liters. 20 into 10. Correct? So what does this mean? That initially if he was using 220 liters, now he can use, or he can get only 200 liters of petrol. Then by how much he should decrease his travel? By how much? So basically the quantity of petrol is decreased by 220 and 200, that is 20 liters. Now what was the mileage of the vehicle? The vehicle had a mileage of 10 kilometer per liter. So that means the vehicle went 10 kilometer in 1 liter. Then in 20 liter, how much it would have gone? Multiplying both sides by 20. So this becomes 10 into 20 kilometer. This is equals to 1 into 20 liters. So this is 20 liters, and 10 into 20, this comes out to be 200 kilometer. So answer is B, 200 kilometer. Yes, Dheeraj. Okay, so this is what you had to do. Now of course, if you learn the concept, then you don't have to think in this much depth. What you can directly see is price and quantity are opposite to each other. So you can just take price and quantity, multiply, price and quantity, multiply, and write this term directly. Most students, if they have learned properly, they were able to write this 90 into 220 is equals to 99x. This equation they were able to write directly, and then it becomes very simple. Understood? Okay. Okay. Do we have time? No. Okay. So I have another class schedule from 2. Okay. Tomorrow again we'll do some more price and quantity based questions, and then some other types of questions also. Tomorrow also, like all these slides are left. So some more time we'll have to give to percentage, little bigger topic. That's why this week I have kept only 4 topics. Okay. So as to arrange for the other stuff. That's it for this one, and we'll meet tomorrow. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, Dheeraj. Okay, Nirja. Okay, Shweta. Okay. 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 So see you tomorrow. That's it. Thank you.